So over the past few months, I've been doing a big overhaul of the gear and equipment that I carry on body in my EDC system. And I'm out here running some errands for myself and Mrs. GT. So I figured I'd take you guys along for the ride, show you what I'm carrying to hopefully jumpstart the conversation in your own mind on what you're carrying in your own system and why. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new to the channel, I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in. And I want to kick things off with something that I have gotten a lot of questions about lately, and it rides right here. And it is the SPARTAN Blades pen protector that I just bought on a whim. I had my eye on it for a little while, and I was like, you know what? I don't carry a pen usually. Let's just see what this is all about. And since having picked it up, I have been carrying it almost like daily. And I realized, what have I been doing? Not having a Sharpie on me all the time. So this houses a Sharpie, comes with one. The cap of a Sharpie goes into this, I believe, American-made polymer handle. So you can swap it out, you know, once one goes bad or whatever. You got a key, you know, like the ring, a pocket clip that's really rigid, and then some jimp. And not only do I have access now to a Sharpie that I can write on all kinds of stuff, not just what a ballpoint pen can, you know, ballpoint pen can, but it's super fidget friendly for those of you who love opening and closing your blades, but it's not always good etiquette where you are and could freak people out. This is just kind of a fun little tool to mess around with. And then obviously it's a force multiplier. Bam, bam, bam. I would not want to get stuck with this, you know, in my eye, my throat, you know, one of my softer portions of my body. It would be very painful. And immobilize me, and because I carry it on my weak side, I can grab that and still deploy my sidearm that we'll get to a little bit later, or other tools if necessary, if I had to, you know, use those in a situation. So that, you know, and I paid like 15 bucks or under 15 bucks for that. It was just an easy tool that has now become really easy to carry, and I just see a lot of value in it. And, you know, all the items, and I have over 15 items we're going to be going through today that are on my person as I walk with you right now. All the new stuff I bought myself through the links that we generate here, through the affiliate programs. Use that money to buy these items to test out and use. And so I will have links to all those affiliate programs in the description box below, so you can go check those out. And, you know, if there's something that makes sense for you, boom, hop on over. Do appreciate that. But the next item I want to touch on with you guys is my pocket knife that I have right here, which is the SPARTAN Blades. It just happens to be a SPARTAN blade as well. What is this? POROS, I believe. POROS 154 cm. I believe this is from their overseas, like Taiwanese made series, but oh my gosh. Now, as a knife reviewing channel, I'm always going through different knives, testing them out, but you know, there are certain blades that I just enjoy and I kind of gravitate to and go back to when I'm not in the midst of testing something, or, you know, I've tested a particular blade for the day and I'm looking to go back to kind of a familiar face, if you will. Well, this, since purchasing it, has been that. Because of its blade shape, the 154 cm, love that steel, high flat grind, very piercing, but has enough belly. And what I was really pleased with was its slicing capability. Very slicey, but still having a lot of piercing rolls as well. And what stunned me was the wood carving. You know, a lot of EDC pocket knives just aren't good for carving wood. This actually makes feather sticks like crazy. And because of the little concave, you know, thumb rest right there in the 90-degree spine, this is phenomenal to strike a ferro rod with the blade in your hand, or in the handle. It makes it really smooth for that. So I can carry it on a hike, I can carry it around town, you know, do whatever I'm doing, and it just has a lot of versatility. Now, it's just a basic liner lock. You know, we got so many sick locks now, but there's still some good models that are liner locks, and I have no problem with this one. It's very solid, very good action with a good detent, drops in. Good big handle, giving me lots and lots of real estate. So I'm going to do a full review on this, but this is kind of my fallback pocket knife currently for the last, I don't know, 2 months since I got it, because it really is checking quite a few boxes for me. Well, I'm hanging out here in the car wash line getting Mrs. GT's Highlander, a car wash. Has been a while. I figured it would be a perfect time to talk about a big upgrade, which is my wallet. For years, I have used a Chum's wallet. It's a great wallet, but because I carry so many cards, I have business cards, I have ID cards, I just have a lot, probably more than most people. I was having to fish for them in that particular wallet, and it was a headache, and the zippers make it a little bit more difficult to just get in and out of the wallet. So I wanted something that was slimmer, and better dividing of my money and cards. And so I just randomly came across the SLIMFOLD minimalist wallet. This is an American-made wallet with a 5-year warranty. They have the Nano, the minimalist, and the original. I got the original because it can hold up to 20 cards, and I'm almost at that. The difference is that it's like they said like a mixture of what feels like Kevlar and like soft shell. It feels great. They have lots of color combinations, you know, and with that sewing and just the way that they've done it, I am sitting on it right now. I don't even know it's there in my pocket. And my old wallet, you know, it's got a hard spot, just isn't good for your back, stuff like that. And when I open it up, man, it's just like right there. I can find, oh, here's a business expense. Bam, there's my business card. Oh, I'm at Costco. Bam, there's my Costco card. Or, you know, grocery store, whatever I need to do. Way better laid out, much slimmer than my old wallet and most that I've had over the years. And then it's just great having, you know, something made in America and having a good 5-year warranty, RFID blocker, all that crap. So go check them out. I would definitely recommend it if you are one of those people who, you know, always have such a big thick wallet and you're taking out, throwing it down all over the place. This is so much slimmer. It's basically a credit card sideways. So if you have enough space in your pockets for that, awesome, highly recommended. So your key ring and what's on it, I would say, is absolutely part of your EDC system. And I have changed quite a bit recently for many different reasons, and it has affected downstream my illumination. I have wanted to streamline my keys because we have gone this past year to 2 Toyotas. My wife has a 2012 Highlander, I have a 2018 Tundra now. Both are kind of old school and have like an actual key that you have to put in the ignition. And the Highlander has like a secondary fob. And so it's just the keys for our vehicles have become very cumbersome. And so I wanted something that, and I'm trying to, you know, get as least amount of bulk on that key ring as possible. So I have eliminated my Rovivon Aurora series of flashlight. I love that flashlight. It is phenomenal. I would highly recommend it if you want a key ring flashlight. But for now, I have taken that off, and now I'm carrying a weak side on-body flashlight that we'll get to in a little bit. So in return, because of that, I just want to show you, I have a quick disconnect, magnetized boop, so we can, you know, get the mail. There's lots of different ones out there. This one really has worked well. It spins really nice. And I really like that little button right there that kind of releases the magnet. It just makes it a lot easier to disconnect, but I've never had them accidentally disconnect in my pocket. And then I've added two things that I feel like I do need all the time. I think it might just be because this year I'm turning 40, guys. Old age, maybe, I don't know. But it's up here where it affects your age. So the first is I've started carrying a toothpick holder. My dentist says my gums are great and whatever, but I just find myself, like when I eat salads and things like that, having some food caught in my teeth more than when I was 25. So having something that I can just unscrew and carry, you know, like half a dozen toothpicks has really helped out a lot. And so now I just carry that with me all the time. You know, these are great for people who maybe have medications that you have to take, you know, pills, things like that. But you don't want to be hanging out and, you know, eat a salad and then you're like, and you got all kinds of crap in there. So that just helps, you know, I don't have to go hunting for a toothpick or something. And then I've been dealing with some ringing in the ears in the last year or two. Maybe it was all the metal shows I went to, and I'm getting that, you know, checked out and stuff. But I've just been trying to be more conscientious of my hearing in the last few years, when I'm around, you know, like machinery and things like that. So I carry earpiece, little tiny, you know, in-ear earplugs. You know, today's Sunday and I'm about to head into church in just a few moments, and the worship is phenomenal, but sometimes it can be really loud, which I love, but because of just some of the things I'm dealing with, I'm just wanting to protect my hearing, and so that makes it a lot easier than trying to find, you know, earbuds and things like that. So if you work in areas, you know, where sound can be an issue, or consistent sound for a long period of time, that might be a good thing to start throwing on your keychain. All right, you guys know what's up. Gotta have a multi-tool, right? And if I'm gonna have a multi-tool, I've tried Swiss Army knives so many times and they just don't really connect with me. For those of you who do, give a shout out, and what's your favorite Swiss Army watch? Or excuse me, Swiss Army multi-tool. For me, it's still, after a couple years of getting it, and I drug my feet on them, but I'm so glad I finally did it, is my Power Pint, whoosh, right up in here. From SOG, yeah, SOG multi-tool, brah. Very capable, excellent little pliers. It has a pocket clip, and again, because I'm trying to eliminate weight on my key rings, this is where that has really helped out a lot. That just comes standard with a pocket clip. You know, the blade, the knife is like, all right, but it's really the pliers, the different screwdrivers, and a couple other little tools that this little guy has. And, you know, I can't remember. I think they're like 40 to 50 bucks. Blacked out or, you know, satin versions do exist out there. But if I'm gonna carry a multi-tool on my person, to me, it has to have pliers. I just use them so much for just little tasks, little things, and then, you know, a good Phillips head, like a 3D Phillips head. So many Swiss Army knives, not all, but many just don't have a 3D Phillips head, and then you're like, what am I doing? And even then, it's like weird, you know, it looks like a corkscrew, and it's just a pain in the butt. So, multi-tools, yes. On body, yes. Power pint, yes. Get a little disorganized sometimes. Whereas with this,
I hate to interrupt.
yeah.
Are you vlogging for like...
That was fun. Just got a new subscriber, Cooper. Shout out to you, Cooper. He was driving by, seeing what I was doing. We started chatting. He checked out the channel and subscribed. So pretty cool. So I want to circle back to that concept of how to transport this gear. Now, these items can all easily fit in, say, a 4-pocketed, 2 in the front, 2 in the back pair of pants. It's just going to be a little cluttered in certain areas. You know, the same pocket that has your multi-tool might have your flashlight as well. So it's doable, but if you have more organization on a pair of pants, it just makes it a lot easier to deploy and know where everything is. Well, that's where today's sponsor, LA Police Gear, comes in. A few months back when I started updating the system, I also had gotten my hands on their Terrain Flex jeans from their Terrain Flex series of pants. Game changer, because you get 4 pockets in the front, 4 in the back, and 2 of those can easily handle AR or AK size mags. They're that wide and that deep. So what that empowers me to do now is better organize the gear. The weight isn't unbearable or like weird or anything like that and clunky. It just means that now I know, oh, that's my flashlight pocket. That's my multi-tool pocket, my, you know, sidearm spare mag pocket, whatever it is I'm doing. And because they have several different cut sizes, I wear relaxed 34-34, fits perfect. They have a few different washes, and 2% spandex gives it just enough give so that it doesn't feel super heavy and like rigid, but really mobile and can contour better to your EDC gear, and eliminates the need to potentially have to carry a fanny pack. Shout out to all of you guys who do that. I might have to do that for summer time, but these are pretty lightweight, but still durable over the few months that I have used them in a lot of different environments and look good, regardless if I'm going to the range, I want to use them there, or going out to dinner with the family. So if you're thinking about the system, getting the right pair of pants can really matter, and a great value at about 40 bucks. So I'm going to have a link in the description box below, popping up as well, along with my 10% off promo code that you can apply towards your purchase. Not only those pants, but other gear and equipment that they carry as well that you can go check out and explore. Okay, so you know we talked about that downstream effect with my illumination, and I'm struggling here and I need your guys' help through the comments section. I have 2 options that I keep going back and forth between, and it's like my mind is telling me one thing, but my heart is telling me something else. Okay, so what I have here is a THRUNITE Archer Pro, version 2. The reason I got it is because I just haven't used a lot of THRUNITE throughout the years. And I liked that it had a rechargeable USB-C port that you just unscrew and plug in, just under 1,000 lumens. And it has continuous infinity mode, so that you just hold the button and it'll phase all the way down to its lowest setting and then phase all the way up to its highest setting, back and forth through that. So you can kind of really dial in whatever illumination amount you really want. You know, it's got a really nice double loop over kind of deep ride, so you can put on the bill of your hat or in your pocket, obviously. And, you know, has strobe, has turbo, all of that. And, I got it for less than 30 bucks, you know, so all of those things together I really like. The 2 things I don't is that the button switch, even though really nice, I mean, it's just so easy to actuate. I do bump it from time to time, and it's been on in my pocket. Sometimes my pocket gets really hot. I'm like, what's going on? That probably happens once a week when I'm carrying it. There's a lockout mode, but then you have to, you know, do a bunch of stuff, and I like having, bam, just quick access. So that's one of the main things. And then I just don't have a lot of experience with THRUNITE, so I'm like, I don't really know if it's good. So the other option that I have been carrying off and on that I bought recently is the NITECORE MT1A Pro. This is like the micro version of the 2A Pro, which we've reviewed. And I really like it. It's more, you know, it's like 40 something bucks. The button is better protected, so it's way less likely for me to accidentally engage it. There's only 3 settings. It's literally just on and then tap to get through, and whatever, you know, you were last on, when you hit it, it's going to be back on again. So that's really good for just bam, high, you know, high mode. High is 800 lumens, so it's going to be a little bit less, but the cone is actually more focused. So the pinpoint of where your light goes, the candle is, if you will, is more intense than on the THRUNITE. So the THRUNITE's a little bit more floody, and the NITECORE is more precise, if you will. The other really cool thing is that you can remove and put a AA battery in here if the battery runs out, but to recharge the rechargeable battery that's a USB-C in here, you have to take apart the light. So there's just more moving parts, so it's a little bit more cumbersome to regularly recharge, but you do have that backup feature, whereas that is not the case. Actually, I've never even tried with the back end. I don't even know what light they're using. You might be able to on the THRUNITE, I'm not sure. Do like a CR123, but I don't think so. Anyway, and then the pocket clip still, you know, has that double loop over, but it rides higher and it's kind of like out, you know, it protrudes from the body a little bit more. So I like the clip a little bit more on the THRUNITE. So it's, but I trust NITECORE a lot more. I've just had a lot more experience with them. So I gravitate back and forth. So leave a comment. Which one do you think, or have you had experience with, and particularly maybe which brand do you trust more when it comes to your EDC illumination? Now let's talk about self-defense. And I have both my CCW and that whole system, including belt, holster, and sidearm, which have not changed in almost a decade, but I have fine-tuned recently and modified some. But I also have a non-lethal option that I want to highlight with you guys as well, for those of you who either don't, can't, whatever, CCWs. So let's touch on that first, CCW portion. As soon as I got my CCW, I think it's been at least almost a decade, if not, I got the original Smith & Wesson Shield in 9mm, and I still carry it to this day. Never had a jam, really works well, and been super pleased. You know, it's inexpensive, easy to carry, and just works. Now, the only issue that I've ever had with that is because it's so narrow, making it easy to carry, it's not always, you know, the funnest to have good accuracy because of how narrow it is. Sometimes I'll have like a little hollow portion, so I need a little bit, something a little thicker. I got a HOGUE like handle condom, basically. You know, you like pull it, it was really tight and hard to get on, but you get it on, it kind of thickens up the handle just a little bit. And that seems to be working. I haven't gone to the range yet, but I've done some dry testing with it, and it feels a lot more comfortable, fuller, and just feels like the accuracy will be a little easier and not create as many gaps in my grip that sometimes happen with the standard shield. So I modified that. Holster is the CYA holster. I've had that since I bought that shield. So years and years and years. Rather inexpensive. I think they use Kydex. I'll put it in if they use something else. They might use like Boleron or something like that. But a good polymer, clicks in, good tension screws, not overly large. I think I paid like 40 bucks or something for mine originally. The only complaint I had with the original one, and they've actually updated some clips since, but was it had kind of a lame like belt clip. So I removed that. I've put on some rubber molly loops lately that snap on, that go around your belt, and that's super secure. I mean, I could run 10 miles with that if I had to at full sprint, if I could physically do that. And it's not going anywhere, so that's really good. I am contemplating doing an ulti-clip on there instead, and possibly looking at that for when I don't have a belt, because I'm going to be having to do a circle back and do like a summertime. This is more like cold weather, EDC for turn of the year. You can wear it with t-shirt and long pants, but like basketball shorts, some of these items just be very difficult to carry. Anyway. With that said, where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Belt, final belt is my Grip 6 Workman belt, 1.75 inch, holds the weight of a CCW a little bit better. Phenomenal, no clips, no buttons, snaps, anything like that. It's just friction, holds that weight great. I've had them for years. I've even been to their factory and seen how they're made. And yes, that is a Gideonstactical custom that I had made for me, that they made for me. Super cool. But those are awesome. Cut the size. Cannot complain about them. There are other great belts. I want to maybe try one or two this year, but man, I've had these belts for years. And outside of like having to wear a leather belt for like some wedding or something I'm going to, and like leather, leather belt just like kind of more aesthetically pleasing, those Grip 6 work belts are like my tried and true and go-to. On a walk with T-Dog, Tommy the Trail Dog, almost 13. He's doing good. And of course my boys are already out of sight on their scooters. But this leads perfectly into the topic of pepper spray. I think these should be in everybody's EDC. We just don't talk about it very much. You know, we just gravitate immediately to the CCW, which of course is my first choice, but there are locations around the world where that is not allowed, or states, or name the reason, right? Or just whatever. And sometimes CCW response is not what's really required. I'm really glad to have it on me when I'm walking Tommy the trail dog. You know, if somebody's unfamiliar dog gets away from him, you know, and comes up on us and is aggressive, a CCW response may not be the right response, but pepper spray, good to go. And obviously that's just the tip of the iceberg. Thousands of other reasons why it would make sense to have this in rotation, either in tandem with your CCW, or if that's not an option, this is a great alternative, really inexpensive. The models that we use for no other reason except that they get really, really good reviews are SABRE. There are lots of options that are also available. I'm gonna be getting one of the running ones soon that fits in my hand a little easier. But you can get tester ones too, and I do recommend that. If you're not familiar with how pepper spray operates, get one of the ones that you saw in the video and, you know, test that out. But it's a very inexpensive way to give yourself some distance between an adversary, four-legged or two-legged. So how about wristwatches? Hot topic for sure. I think everyone should have a wristwatch on hand. Those who don't, I always judge you a little bit and I'm like, do they really like care about their life? And do they make good choices? So it definitely, to me, says something about a person if they have a watch. I do have a Garmin smartwatch, which is great, but I don't use that as often. I usually use that when I like go hiking and things like that. I just don't like the Bluetooth energy going through me. And I don't really, now that we see a lot of these are having like tons of plastic dilates and all that. And so what I've found myself doing is having two types of watches and spending way less money and going with my kick around type of watch being Casio Illuminators, because they just have so many options, 15 to like 35 bucks on the high end. And they're, guys, for the average user, you and me, they are more than durable enough. Their plastic faces kind of scratch up a little quicker because they're probably not as good a quality as like higher end like G-Shocks, but like for actual justifying durability sake, G-Shocks are dope. But I mean, unless you're like working some brutal job, you know, and you're just like deep sea diving or jumping out of airplanes, or like, you know, you're thrashing yourself as a mechanic or, you know, some sort of construction worker, these are going to be just as durable for the average Joe and just kick around town, go hiking with, do whatever you're going to do. And then spending more money on like higher end classy watches, on analog watches, and the ones I've been currently almost exclusively wearing are my VAER watches. I had my eye on them for a long time, and then awesome over the holidays was able to score, you know, a partnership with them, and they hooked me up with a few, and I was not disappointed. Those things are freaking sick. Lots of variations, and they just look good, but they still have, you know, obviously like a lot of good durability on the analog side. So that's what I'm doing. Kick around watches, Casio Illuminators, high-end like field watches is kind of where I like to spend my money on the watches. And now we got the concept of an EDC Fixed Blade, and my Overland Sport is my go-to. Now, like the pocket knife, I mean, I'm always testing and, you know, modifying knives here at the channel, but I do have those ones that I just gravitate to. So that is the model that I just gravitate to more than other ones. There's so many phenomenal, you know, options out there, but I had it tricked out the way I want. The Magna Cut, the, you know, pancake ulti-clip, you know, setup. It makes it really easy to carry. And today, you know, I'm just walking the kid, you know, taking the kids for a walk and walking Tommy. But then we have a kids basketball game a little later in the day, and I was just like, you know what? I'll do Fixed Blade today. I don't do both. I don't do a folder and a fixed blade. It's one or the other. Leave a comment if you're one of those people that does both all the time. I'd love to know and maybe give you a reason why. I don't see the need for that. But because this has just become so popular, and a lot of knives are they used to be like basically designed as like neck knives, but now that pocket carry idea is just becoming way more and more something people gravitate to, including myself. And it just really depends on what I'm doing that day and just what I'm feeling. And ulti-clips, I feel like, are probably the best way currently to attach, you know, one of these to make it feel like you're carrying a pocket knife versus, you know, carrying a fixed blade, a dedicated fixed blade. You do have a pair of pants, regardless of if it's those LAPG ones or not, that have the mag pockets at like 8 and 4 o'clock. That is the perfect size for almost every EDC fixed blade. You can put it there, and that's where I carry mine. And oh my gosh, it is, it's like right where you want it, and it just, it really works well. And that's where, you know, having the right apparel to carry your equipment always seems to work. Sorry, Tommy's leg is like all tripped up. It can just make the, you know, carrying experience a little bit better. But I, you know, front pocket carry all the time, those fixed blades. Well, guys, I hope that this video has been really fun and entertaining for you, but also giving you good food for thought on the gear and equipment that you carry on body for your everyday carry system. Leave comments below. I want to know gear items that you maybe think I should try out, that you really trust, that you really enjoy. I always appreciate that. I hope you guys have a great week. Check out the other videos, subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.